Jack the Ripper. The murders begin. In the late summer and autumn of 1888, a series of gruesome murders rocked the Whitechapel district of London, a poverty-stricken and densely populated area in the East End. The victims were all women, primarily prostitutes, and their murders were characterized by extreme violence and mutilation. 1. Mary Ann Nichols, August 31, 1888. The first known victim, Mary Ann Nichols, was found dead in Bucks Row, now Durward Street, on the early morning of August 31st. Her throat had been deeply slashed, and her abdomen was mutilated. Her murder marked the beginning of the terror that would soon grip the area. 2. Annie Chapman, September 8, 1888. Less than a week later, on September 8th, Annie Chapman's lifeless body was discovered in the backyard of 29 Hanbury Street. Like Nichols, she had her throat cut, and her body was brutally mutilated. 3. Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes, September 30th, 1888. On the night of September 30th, 2 more women fell victim to the killer. Elizabeth Stride's body was found in Dutfield's yard with her throat slashed, but her body was not extensively mutilated. Later that same night, Catherine Eddowes was found murdered in Mitre Square. Her throat was slashed, and her face was severely disfigured. 4. Mary Jane Kelly, November 9, 1888. Mary Jane Kelly was the Ripper's final confirmed victim. She was found murdered in her small apartment at 13 Miller's Court on November 9th. The scene was particularly horrific, with her body brutally mutilated beyond recognition. The police investigation. The brutal murders ignited a massive police investigation led by Inspector Frederick Aberline. Despite their best efforts, the police were unable to apprehend the killer. The case was complicated by the fact that forensic science was in its infancy, and the lack of eyewitnesses made it difficult to identify the murderer. Theories and suspects. Over the years, countless theories and suspects have emerged, but none have been definitively proven as Jack the Ripper. Some of the more notable suspects include Montague John Druitt. Druitt, a barrister and teacher, was one of the earliest suspects. His suicide shortly after the last known Ripper murder raised suspicions, but there is no concrete evidence linking him to the crimes. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish immigrant living in Whitechapel. Kosminski was a suspect mentioned in police documents. He had a history of mental illness and violent behavior. Recent DNA analysis on a shawl believed to belong to Catherine Eddowes suggested a possible link to Kosminski, but the evidence is not conclusive. Francis Tumblety. An American quack doctor who was in London during the Ripper murders, Tumblety had a reputation for misogyny and was arrested on unrelated charges. Some believe he fits the profile of a potential serial killer, but there is no direct evidence tying him to the murders. Sir William Gull. This theory posits that the killings were part of a royal conspiracy to cover up a scandal, with Sir William Gull, the physician to Queen Victoria, involved. However, this theory lacks substantial evidence and is largely speculative. The legacy. The legend of Jack the Ripper endures to this day, and the case remains one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in history. Whitechapel and the East End of London have become synonymous with the Ripper legend, and guided tours of the area continue to attract tourists interested in the dark history of these murders. Despite the passage of time, the identity and motives of Jack the Ripper remain subjects of speculation and debate, making it one of the most enduring mysteries in the annals of crime.
Hey there! We hope you're enjoying our content so far. If you do, please consider giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. Thanks for being a part of our community.